So the thing that I guys want you to see this is how they actually block up front and really how he maneuvers himself to get the backers into a bad spot. That's what I think, JT, on this. So I don't know if you got both angles on here or not.
Yeah, no, I got everything. We can roll through. We should have the scoreboard angle, the wide copy, and the end zone, I think, for each play.
All right. So we're going to let this go. So this is a simple, it's supposed to be an inside run. You see him checking, looking over to the side. I think we're going to get a lot of that in the game as well. And then they're just trying to get some indicators. And this is supposed to be really, and you can see him right now stacked behind those linemen so you can't see him. He seems to be a smaller dude a little bit, but if you see their linebackers, they got up in there real tight. JT, I felt like we've had a little bit of that. Corey, I feel like we've had a little bit of that with our linebackers where they had ways to, or where our backers were necessarily, they were getting in the wrong gap sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We missed this dude when JT shows this. He gives a nice jump cut into the gap to the left, and he's one-on-one with the safety, which hopefully our safeties tackle a little bit better than this because he's going to the house. All right, so if we can show this from the back angle, I think this is a better piece, and then let's just discuss, a little bit on what do you think linebackers have to do.
Because I wasn't particularly happy with what I saw from Ohio State's defense right here. But you do have to give Blake Corum credit because he does, that jump cut is nasty. He does set up people to, they have two holes they think they got to figure out, and he'll set you up with the wrong one, jump back to the other one, and take it.
You see him right now. These back, and I like it that they're triggering kind of fast, and they pull the 22 pulls the lineman off that double team really quick, but it hurts him at the same time, I think. So why is running this? So what do you think about our linebacker play, Corey, a little bit, and how we've been feeling and stuff? Could this be a problem, or are we going to be okay and be disciplined, or what do you think?
I know that against Auburn, it definitely was a problem. I mean, I think that anytime you give up 244 yards rushing to Auburn coming in, that it only averaged right at maybe a little over 120 yards per game, you have to go ahead and make sure that you fill the correct gaps. Because if you do not, and they're able to get a hat on your linebackers getting sucked in at all, then that's what Corum wants. I mean, he has 24 rushing touchdowns, and you look at him having right over 1,000 yards and 24 touchdowns. Why does he have 24 rushing touchdowns? It's because of them being able to get into that red zone area and for him to make great decisions like this film does show, because initially he decided that where he wanted to go. And you mentioned him being a small, compact back, kind of like Mark Ingram, when you kind of disappear behind the line of scrimmage. Correct decisions. And by the linebackers, I think that's what's going to control, again, in the trenches and the linebackers. The box play is going to be so very critical in the semifinal game.
Yep. So when you're watching this, you can see it. I'm talking about the linebackers a little bit, but their 91 didn't do a very good job either. I think he got himself turned where he probably need to stay a little bit more square to the line of scrimmage, or things like this will happen. So you can let it run, JT. And I just want to show, I think you have the same type play in a different game that I want you to see, because he basically did the exact same move in another game versus Penn State, right? So when we get to that clip,
so I thought, and this is me more critiquing linebacker play for Oklahoma State, or not Oklahoma State, Ohio State. Just because I think 22 makes it hard on himself, because I think he's getting a bit greedy here.
Too late.
And it's not even necessarily him getting up to the line so quickly for me. I think where the problem is, again, it's kind of, if we just want to assign gaps, which is what I usually try to do. It's like, all right, you got this gap. You've probably got this one. You've got this one. You've got this one. You got to set the edge. You got a guy out here. We got another guy setting the edge. He's probably man-to-man, so he's probably not going to fold in to C-gap here, but this safety can fill right here.
Yep.
And what ends up happening is, if I just run it just a little bit here, we've got if 22 just sees this hole and just runs through it, even if he gets blocked and he just stays on this outside shoulder and he stays here, there's nowhere for Blake Corum to go except to bounce here where the safety's actually in a better position to make the tackle. But what ends up happening is 22 gets in here and tries to guess and I think he gets a little bit greedy thinking that he's going left, and that right there is where Michigan makes their money.
Yeah, that's impeccable vision by Blake, because I don't even know how he sees the damn defender behind his lineman. So just for him to even make that jump, that's pretty impressive, I think. But needs to say, you see 91 getting whooped too. So, but Sick got to make the tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like I said, I think if he probably is in a better position, I mean, he still should make the tackle anyway, but he's probably in a better position if his linebacker, quote unquote, doesn't hang him out to dry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get to the next one just so I can at least show you this. I just wanted you to see that he's done it multiple games, not necessarily about the play, but it's not the same formation, but almost. They just don't have the lead back this time. But it's just
other thing is that just for people who are going to be watching this game at home, Michigan does have a huge tendency, not that it actually matters, and I know they know this, but they do have a huge tendency to where anytime they come out, well, first, it seems like I might be able to count on one hand how many times Michigan has been on the field without a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
They're always going to have a tight end, and I think it's like 90-something% run when the tight end is a nub. And what I mean by nub is he's the only guy over here. There's no receivers. The rest of the receivers are over on this side. That is, we already know they're heavy. We say heavy run. I think they're only I think they might be 60-40 at best. I think they're like 58-42 or whatever on the season. But in these kind of formations, it's over 70% run. I know that.
Yep. All right. So let it go. You just want to see again, not so much to really talk about the play with the linebacker, but you can see exactly what he does to the linebackers again. He's taking a blitz, but I mean, that's the exact same hold. Tell me that the play don't look.
It's the same. Yeah, it looks like the same play, and you might have the linebacker might have the same issue, right? He's responsible for a gap.
Yeah, he took it because he blitzed.
Yep, and he's got a blitz.
So the thing that everyone got to see is that you got two doubles, and that's why it's really important that when I say doubles, the duo blocks, the center and the right guard takes the defensive tackle or nose guard, and the 91 gets doubled as well. And they're looking to double up to number 11. I love the way that lineman is keeping his eyes up, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can see it. He sees the blitz coming right from the jump.
So he's taking it, and they're just one guy short, though. They don't have State,
there's
the other safety there. So
there's nobody here. I mean, I guess you can barely see him. He's down here next to my face.
Yeah. So see, I mean, it's gap control and it's being aligned properly. I mean, they're just outmatched. So he takes this to the house. That's all I really had on that one, GT. Corey, anything you need to add with that?
I mean, do you guys see Caleb Downs coming down from his safety position, missing tackles like 21 and 6 did? Because we know it's always a game of angles. But, I mean, again, if you're going to come down and you're going to make tackles in the box, what you've seen is Malachi Moore tackle well in open space. You've seen Caleb Downs take great angles. You really haven't seen Alabama in the secondary get gashed beyond. If they get to the second level, helmet on helmet, then you see secondary players have to make the tackle. But do you see Downs not being able to come down in the box and make that tackle? Kool-Aid rolling over, not being able to make that tackle. Because I think that's one of the things that Kevin Steele's done a tremendous job of is our tackling has been better this season.
Well, I wanna answer that question and tie in this comment from Coach Smook. He said if 17 leans, I think he's talking about Trez Marshall, like 22 is doing, and like he was doing against Auburn, we'll see very similar results. But if he wins his gap, it allows Caleb, Key, Arnold to support effectively. And I wanted to tie that in because I did look at the run support grades of Alabama's defense because I was just curious on like who grades out best against the run. It might shock you who was at the top. Terry and Arnold had the highest grade in run defense, followed by it was somebody who shocked me, but he didn't have very many snaps, so I kind of threw him out because he didn't play as much. But third was Caleb Downs, and we saw it again in the Georgia game. He was living in the box. I think they even kind of moved. You got to tell me if I'm wrong, Dad. I think they moved Malachi back a bit. He was playing a lot farther off than he usually does. Caleb Downs was sitting a lot closer to the box. And then they had Key and rotating in somebody else back there every now and then. So I think Caleb Downs is going to be huge for us in this particular scenario because I think, especially in these kind of looks, I might have went back too far. In these kind of looks, what I imagine is that where 25 is sitting, if I get my pen, where 25 is sitting. Caleb actually kind of moves back a little bit so that he can get in here if he needs to. And then we expect the safety to come in and force from the outside this way.
Make it bounce.
Yes. And I would expect that a little bit more when you have a nub tight end too. I don't think he's going to be sitting this far out. Maybe he will at the start of the game. But I think he starts to kind of creep in a little bit more and we start to trigger outside to help this because
I don't think they'll be able to run over there. Not against us. Not to the nub side.
I don't think so either. But they did it to Penn State because I can only assume they were misaligned. They had a guy back here and he was over here, and then they had like 44. I don't know if it was actually 44, but he was in a 9, so he was outside shaded the tight end. And then for whatever reason, he went inside. Blake Corum went outside like this and took it for like 50 yards.
Yeah, off to the races. Okay. All right. Well, let's go on to the next one if we can. This was actually so we just showed you a couple of running plays, and I want to see if you can see some a couple pass plays.
This is not good by 21. Sorry, I know we're supposed to be getting, but
you gotta get through it.
He's like, I don't want no part of this.
We talk about Michigan, man.
I know, but
the defensive side coming out on you, man. You're looking like, man, I want my safety to do that. It's bad angle and all that kind of stuff. But, it's really just to highlight that guy can take us to the house is really the point. So this is the play that JT was actually talking about here. I don't know, I saw it in the game, and I was when it was on TV, when I was actually watching this, and I was like, this is absolutely unbelievable. So this guy here, he can make some plays, J.J. McCarthy. Mm-hmm. And I think this is there might be some other clips, but this one here is just like unbelievable. If he gets this kind of luck or precision or whatever you want to call it. So when you're talking about throwing in tight windows, which I think he's going to have to do because I think our DBs can run with all of their wide receivers. I don't think we're outmatched by anybody from their skill positions on the outside, right? That's what I feel. I don't know. JT might feel a little different or Corey might feel a little different. But when you get stuff like this happening, right? So you let this go. He's got a good rush. I think we're going to get in routes like that. That is just ridiculous, right? I think we're going to get some motion like that to try to get our guys off of press and things of that nature. But for him to put this here, I think we had another.
Yeah, you got to see it from this angle because this is the one I was like, what?
Yeah, the linebacker's right there. If that guy don't even turn around or a corner or whatever he is, safety, he probably would have intercepted it, but I don't know how he got it in there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, if he's gonna do this for 4 quarters, God help us.
Long day.
Because
Right.
he stood in here and he threw it right as this dude is trying to drop and figure out where he needs to be dropping to under this receiver, and it zips right in between those two.
So how would you grade that out right there, Corey, when you see something like that? Do you think this is the skill set that everybody say why he was originally to being talked about up for a Heisman or whatnot?
Yeah.
These are the kind of plays that make it go, or is this just
That's a Heisman clip, period. I mean, and because he knows that's what you call timing and precision, and definitely the quarterback wide receiver trust factor there, because you can tell they put in numerous amounts of hours on that, because that ball is gone. And true enough, the defender, if he whips his head around and turns around and sees the football, but threading the needle is what great quarterbacks are able to do. And the trust that he's showing his wide receiver there. Michigan doesn't have a 700, 800, 900 yard receiver on their squad. I think their leading receiver has only 662 receiving yards. So when you look at their leading wide receiver only having 662 yards, I think that the trust factor on that throw right there was tremendous. And like you said, it's just one of those, oh, you know what plays that where you just, hey, play the next play. That was just great offense, great defense, even better offense. I mean, Mark Jackson used to say it in basketball, hand down, man down. There's nothing you can do about that. It's just a tremendous throw and tremendous timing, quarterback, wide receiver. And I mean, if you're making that throw, I'll give you one of those a game to where you can add that to the highlight reel. But I don't expect that to happen all night long against Alabama.
Yep. And so if you go back to the end zone copy one more time, the only other piece I want to talk about this, and I hope that our guys keep our composure, because I want you to see the linemen look at their right side. They do this a lot when you watch what Michigan does. I think it might be their right tackle, 52. I'm not really sure, or maybe a 65. I don't know, but he ends up falling on the guy right there. You see him get double teamed and jack, and then they kind of lay on you and all this kind of stuff. I hope our guys don't get up trying to be macho guys and catching the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, because these guys do like to throw people down to the ground and then lay on them. We see it a lot of times, particularly their left tackle. He does it a bunch too, where he'll kind of club you and fall on you. It's legal, but I don't know, JT, you know how it is when you're on the bottom of the pile and someone, you kind of, and you're on national television. That's not the kind of feeling that you want to have, because you know they're going to show the replay. They're going to be on someone highlight reel. So
well, I wanted to point out something at the end of the play here, because this caught my eye. Somebody, the guy who's getting paid to be paying attention to hold the camera. I'm going to try to circle him for you. This guy right here has to be one of the most confident dudes I think I've ever seen, because before the ref even signals touchdown, he is sprinting onto the field to get that shot. And he kind of just comes out of nowhere. And I just wanted to just bring attention, because he's already he's here. And then on the end zone view, he kind of just pops up.
It is crazy because the guy actually took the ball away from him. I remember the deal on whether or not it was an interception or not. But anyway, just as good as he has it, the next clip I want to show you is a piece where you go, well, which one of these J.J. McCarthy's are you going to have? This is just a simple, really out route. He has no pressure on him. They give the indicator again. If you guys don't know what indicator it is, try to find out if it's man or zone. This guy down here at the 40 is wide open, but you also, he's letting the ball fly right now. You see the ball's already out, and he just skips it, And so you watch one of those plays, and then you watch something like this, and you go, okay, was that fluky, or is this fluky? There's nobody in his face, and he just missed it. So I'm hoping we see more of this part of JJ.
Yeah, so I want to draw a little bit of comparison. So there's 13 minutes and 53 seconds in the first quarter. Ohio State had the ball first. They've only had the ball for 1:07. He's probably not quote unquote warm yet. This is nerves, whatever you're playing in another big game. Obviously, he ended up getting better throughout the game. However, that's what happened against TCU last year. He threw a pick early. It went back for 6. And then he threw another one that ended up going for 6. And then next thing you know, you're looking at what you thought was big, bad Michigan getting beat by TCU handily. So if that bad ball turns into a jumped route early, that could rattle Michigan.
Yes, because I don't know if they're going to just be able to run the ball down their throat, try to catch up after that. So I don't know which one we're going to get. All right, so we just wanted to show that. All right, so this is the other clip. The next one is when they bring in a different quarterback, the ORJI, right? And this is what me and JT were talking about on We Wish We Actually Ran Our Quarterback Counter. It looks like
Oh, yeah. Should I just go ahead and go to the end zone view? Because
yeah, that'd be good. So they do a little bit of motion. Again, always trying to get, indicators of where man is zone and all this kind of stuff. If you guys don't remember what counters are, you got pullers going, guys blocking down. There's the pullers going out. So check it out. And you see number
keep
10.
in mind,
actually,
this is the exact same play that Alabama has run with Jalen Milroe.
Stick Jalen Milroe in there. He just don't tend to go inside. He always try to bounce outside, and we scream every game. He's so fast. So you got a kick out by the first guy, and then a wrap by the next guy. Patience, hit the gap. Now JT pointed out some things earlier in the show about what his tendencies are when he comes in. He hadn't thrown the ball yet at all. So I'm assuming we're going to try to force him to throw if he comes in. I didn't really study on when they put him in, JT, or what.
I looked at his plays just because I wanted to see how often they were using him. He played in the Penn State game. I think there was one game he came in garbage time and had like 3 plays. Basically, all you need to know is the redshirt rules are you get to play in 4 games.
Yep.
And you get to keep your red shirt. As of right now, he still has his red shirt. So even if he plays against Alabama, this is still only like his 4th game. They have used him super sparingly. When he did, I think he was in the game 2 plays against Michigan or against Ohio State. It was Michigan State. He was in the game for like 4 plays, and they were already up by 40 points or whatever. And then he was in for 1 more play against Iowa, I believe. I think that's all he's seen.
11 carries, 69 yards for the season, 1 touchdown. Passing wise, he has not attempted a pass at all. So that'll let you know a little bit about what he's going to bring offensively to the table. One of those wrinkles that you can see, because you know he's capable of, but then again, to me, now is not the time to roll the dice.
Well, we had to coach against him in high school. We know how dynamic of a player he is because that game might have looked a lot different had he not got thrown out for targeting.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we actually thought he was going to, full disclosure, we thought he was going to come over to JP2 and play for us for a little while, but he opted not to come to us and go back to public school afterwards. Very cerebral guy, very smart. Surprised they're not throwing him. Maybe just hadn't picked up everything yet, but it will be. So I want to ask Corey this, though, from the other side, because we were kind of comparing him to what Milroe does and whatnot. So what do you think? Why do you think, we've been speculating the whole time on why Milroe might not want to run up in there, not patient enough to wait on those linemen and kind of sneak in there between that. What do you think that is, Corey? Why do you think Milroe might not want to?
I think it's that his T-shirt sums it up. Length, let all naysayers know. And sometimes he knows what the naysayers are going to say, and that is, I'm a run-first quarterback. And I don't think that's how he wants to be labeled. I don't think that's the stigma that he wants to stick on himself. And you see in the Auburn film, Coach Saban giving him the business. Run the effing ball there when he went past the line of scrimmage. And there were several times throughout the season that he could have turned in and easily have run it, but he wants to show you that he can go through his progression. So I think that it boils down to him wanting to continue to mature as a quarterback, knowing that he can run and just being patient enough to where we see the lanes. He knows the lanes there. But look, his mentality is let me hit the explosive play first through passing the football and then running second, where we're all saying, no, turn into Jaden Daniels and be that video game guy to where if they're going to give it to you, go ahead and rush for it. As evident in the LSU game, his numbers were equivalent to the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, and I should apologize to our listeners on the downloaded podcast. No, they wouldn't. They won't know anything about this, so they won't know. Okay, so scratch that. I was about to make sure that they knew who Corey was, but they won't hear this part. Okay, so let's go to the next one. We got some defensive clips I want to be able to show for them. This is Michigan's on defense now, and I really wanted you to see a couple things in this type of defense they're playing. So they do play some combo coverages. JT can kind of look at this and we'll see. And this is kind of I think we run similar type route. So it looks like they're playing like a cover 4 down here. So this would be called a cover 6, where it's combo coverage, a 4 to the bottom and a 2 to the top. It's up for discussion. I'm just saying in the little bit that I've watched. So when you let this go, that's important to know because the quarterback got to be able to see the difference, right? Because it's not true cover 2 at the bottom because the safety's in the middle of the field. It doesn't look like he's going back for deep third, but maybe he is. I don't know. The whole point of it is
I'm going to say no, because if he was playing deep third and he's got a post route coming to him, he should be going back the other way. So you're probably right. It probably is quarter half.
Mm-hmm. Which is still kind of off. I mean, I guess you're supposed to be about 12 or so. Just seemed like they got some room. But the safety's in conflict at the top. And this is why I think Jalen Milroe can have one of those big shots, because this is what happened here. Because I think our wide receivers can get behind them. Yeah, to grab him and everything else. But, they were stacked. The safeties got deep half. 2 guys running straight up the field. They don't have no jam or anything. If you got Burton and anybody else coming at a safety like that, I think we win. Okay. I'm glad they got it on this because I think you need to see the defensive lineman, and this is the part we were talking about, Jalen Milroe. These guys are getting up the field. Let me see if I got this. This is actually 1st and 10, by the way. So if you're wondering, and I'm watching the way the linemen are getting up the field.
Watching the utter confusion from Ohio State right now.
On 1st and 10, both outside guys are up the field. So look at that right there. When I was talking about this earlier with you guys, if Milroe's going to have to step up because these ends do this a lot. I mean, they're up the friggin' field. And this is a zone behind it. And, I mean, yeah, the guy falls back in and hits him, but Milroe either pulls it down and run or he takes a big shot like this to either one of those guys, right? So what I said on the final drive earlier today was Milroe likes to escape outside. He likes to jump outside when he starts to feel pressure like that. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that much the way that they rush. So it's really going to be really important that when he starts to escape, he's got to get up in the pocket, then bounce out, or he's got to do something a little bit different other than just trying to retreat and then run around him, right? Mm-hmm. That's my take on that one. Y'all see anything different?
No, I wonder if they're going to continue to rush that way, though. I don't know if that's, if it's they're rushing Kyle McCord and they're like, yeah, but Kyle ain't finna take off like that. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll
find out real quick though.
Yeah, that's a valid point. And I just happen to keep seeing it. I saw it in so many plays. I'm like, it just seems like maybe they're telling them, give them a go call. Maybe there's some tendencies that Ohio State had that they knew was going to be a pass. I don't know.
I see what you did there.
What? Yeah, they cheat. So anyway, that's what it is. Is this the next play?
Yes.
Okay, and so this one, so they play a lot of cover three. So one of the stats that we pulled, I saw they play cover three. Michigan plays cover three 27% of the time. That's one thing. That's a lot. That's a lot of the game. But what I noticed also, JT, in those statistics was that I didn't realize how much people played cover three against us. There was a ton of it when I started with the Alabama film. There was a lot. And I think it was because they were trying to get 8 in the box and try to stop our run and dare them to throw the ball. Right? So it doesn't matter with Michigan. They're playing it all the time. They have different variations of what they do with the linemen and all that kind of stuff. But the coverage concept is the same. Early in the year when I was watching our film versus cover three, we weren't very good at it. That's what I was talking about, Jalen Milroe. He was kind of throwing in the cup, couldn't see. He was just starting to take off and then taking sacks. But he didn't have very many options. So when you watch this one, so cover three, JT, maybe you need to explain or show drawing of what cover three is for the
well, I guess we'll get a little bit of play art. Let them get lined up here.
The safety at the bottom drops down to the flat.
Yeah, so they're gonna try to roll. Saban will call this like three buzz. They're gonna roll to the 3 side, which is the strong side. So this guy's gonna come down and probably play some kind of underneath. I don't know if he's responsible for out or whatnot, but he's gonna take a deep third of the field. He's gonna take a deep third of the field, and he's gonna take a deep third in the field. He's probably responsible flat out here. Curl flat. He's got a little bit of work. He's got a lot of area to cover, but he's into the boundary. So they're usually going to take that because there's only one receiver out here anyway.
And this is where thank you for the segue. And that's why I think the way we run, and we talked a bit about this on Teague's take, one of the O's where we're talking about where they run weak side floods. Trips like this, Alabama likes to take someone across the field. So one of those guys would go under and another one would take a deep over. Oh, yep. And then the other guy's going deep up top. So you're trying to stress that one guy that you said had the flat at the top where he's got to make a decision. Is he going to take the short one or the deep one? It just so happens when our deep over comes over, he's at 12, 15, 18 yards deep.
Yeah. So you really got to be disciplined and say, hey, we're going to rally up and tackle this 3-yard one, but you got to get here. And it's super hard to beat that out of somebody to say, hey, don't take the short stuff, turn your hips, run away from a guy who looks wide open, because he is going to be open. And then eventually you might even get him to stop and then put the back out here, which makes it even more difficult.
Now, that is not what Michigan runs on this play. I just wanted you to be able to see the concept on how I think we can beat it. So if you let it go, well, they do run it.
Yeah, kind of.
And that guy is wide open back there. Now, they get to him and sack him, and this is where the if game comes in, right? Well, how do we have enough they only rush 4 guys or 5 with a late guy coming off. I mean, we could have had it blocked up, but if our linemen hold up, that's going to be a big shot and that's what excites me, Corey, that I think we can be able to have those type of shots. You think our linemen, I mean, look at I guess that's the left guard, 74. I'm not picking on anybody. It's just, I mean, his head's down and it's just not very good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think this is probably enough time to get this out. Like, if you just know what your read is right now, hitch, and ball he should be in his throwing motion
right now.
Right.
Referee might be blocking his vision a little bit, but That's what I think. Corey, how do you feel about these explosive plays? Am I over exaggerating myself thinking we can get some explosive plays if we can block a
No,
little bit?
I think that Tommy Rees has done a tremendous job. You look at the adjustments and the new formation that he showed Georgia, because we know Kirby is a defensive guru, and he watched every single snap that Alabama had, and there were some new wrinkles in the offensive playbook for Jalen Milroe. And I think that when you take Jace McClellan out of that SEC championship game, it added another dimension for the backs. But you're exactly right about hit, hold, and then get rid of the football. I think Milroe, again, throughout the game, Michigan's going to have that one play to where, yes, the pocket is going to collapse. Because what was the biggest question mark throughout the first 6 or 7 games for Alabama? It was the offensive line. And where is the protection coming from? Now, with 3 weeks worth of rest and preparation for one team, guys, I really do think that Alabama, again, will the pocket collapse? Maybe once. And I think that that'll be a situation where Alabama will make the adjustments. And Alabama has made the adjustments on the fly offensively. And just like you guys are breaking this down, the coaching staff will do a tremendous job of picking up on Michigan's tendencies early. And if the pocket does collapse, Jalen will realize I have to get rid of the football faster, check down, or go ahead and go with that explosive play. But to answer your question, George, yes, explosive plays will be there for Isaiah Bond and for Burton. And I think Prentice will be able to take the top off the football, at least take our shots, and hopefully the timing will be right.
So, JT, can you go back to that one, just to the back end or something real fast on that last play? I just wanted to point it out again. Look at how they rush. Again, I want to remind everybody, this is still 1st and 10. This is 1st and 10. And the doggone rushers, particularly at the top, are getting up the field again. You know, they're not, again, I don't know. I mean, it just 71 ain't even got no one to block. I mean, he's just having to get the heck out of there. So these guys are getting up the field, way up the field. And those are different guys, you know. So anyway, I just think that's going to be important to Milroe and how he tries to escape. All right, so this will be the last one of the Michigan tape. This is the cover 1. And this is why I don't think they're actually playing. Who are they playing right here? Purdue. And they're blitzing. They're playing man-to-man press. I mean, everybody open. that corner at the bottom got beat so bad off the jump. I mean,
what's
that's why I don't think
what's frustrating to me is, like, how do you give up a fade and the guy went inside? Like he went inside and then still stacked you and caught the ball outside the numbers.
Ran around you, and that, I mean, that's bad, bro. But look at the slot guy at the top. He 2-3 yards in front of the guy. I mean, he's got to pick of the litter if he wants to throw the under to the top.
Yeah, he's got the in breaking route on the 20. He's got the ball up the seam. He's even got the ball to the back. Now he doesn't have time to figure that out.
No, they're coming now. They're bringing them.
But yeah, if you're gonna bring 6,
yeah, they went.
You gotta help your blitzers, man.
They went 5 out, and so the only thing I'd like to give the viewers on this, and I was kind of wondering how much man they would play when they played Ohio State. They played man coverage 1 time. So I said on the final word today that I'd be shocked if we saw it more than 5. I didn't want to say that they wouldn't play it at all. Maybe once because they got a blitz or do something. I did not put it down in distance on this one. I don't remember what it was. But they decided to bring the heat. But the way that they've been playing, man, I don't think it's – and I wanted to show it against Purdue and not against someone else just because – if those guys can get open on them, surely we can too.